What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the GinTV podcast. As always, your boy EAZY.
Hey, A1DasauceGod.
And we have a return guest in the building today. No longer, we're actually with a new name or original
name.
OG name, right?
The name on my birth certificate.
We got Kyah in here.
Happy to be here again.
Happy to have you back.
I didn't realize how long it's been. I thought it was last year. It's been 2 years since you've been here.
That's crazy. Time really flies.
100%. Like, we really thought, like, we were all taking bets that it was, like, last summer and the shit was, like, the fall before.
Yeah.
I literally thought it was last year, honestly.
Me too. But, all right, let's get straight into it. So, last week I was browsing through my favorite social media platform, Twitter, and I ran into this video by a passport bro. So, prior to this, I had never heard the term before, right?
Okay.
So, essentially, a passport bro is a guy that lives in America, is an American man, but he's like essentially just fed up with American women and the dating scene here, and he travels overseas to, like, you know, find a wife.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play the video that I saw, and then we'll kind of just go off that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I don't know who this brother is, but you know, whatever. Shout out to you, man.
More United States men need to get their passports and come to Thailand.
Turn it
Find
towards
them a
us.
traditional wife. Find them a traditional woman, because the women in the United States, they don't do us no good. They're not traditional.
Damn.
They don't want to be traditional.
That
They
guy
want a
went straight
traditional
for them.
man without them being traditional. So they want traditional while they're modernized. And we don't want a modernized woman. We want a traditional woman. She can cook. She can clean. She's a good woman. And
He talks like an old school pastor.
Definitely.
Like old school pastor.
Like,
All right, so when I first saw this, I was like immediately like loser. Like, you can't get no ass in America, so I gotta go overseas, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, you know what? Before I judge, right?
Yeah.
Like, let me actually kind of look into this passport bros movement, right? And kind of really dive into it and see their point of view instead of just assuming like, you know, these are just fucking nerds that can't get
Right.
ass here. And
Right.
I came up with like a different thought, you know, like I first, like I said, I thought like this was kind of like dumb. But what are you guys' thoughts on the video or on the guy?
What I got when I just saw the video, initially, I felt like he was putting American women in a box immediately and suppressing them. I feel like he may base his relationships off gender roles.
Okay.
He may be big on that. But I feel like you can be traditional and also implement anything modern in your life.
All right. Before we go deeper into that, right? I guess, you know, technically, let's like just get a definition. What is a modern woman? I hear that statement all the time, right? Obviously, whatever definition we come up with today, right? Someone else is going to watch this and have their own definition. But what is a modern woman to you? Like, do you consider yourself a modern woman?
I don't necessarily. I think I have some modern attributes about me, but I think I'm more of an innovative woman, and I like innovative people.
Okay, so you just threw a whole
innovative
term in there.
Innovative sounds modern though.
Does it?
Yeah.
It's like modern fancy. It's a fancy, it's a fancy modern word.
But I'm not afraid of new or not the norm.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
definitely a modern woman. You're
that sounds
describing
modern.
it by the T.
Are you
Like you're
serious
dancing,
right now?
That
dancing
sounds
around
modern.
the word. Like, I'm not afraid of new, which is
Not old.
not traditional.
I think traditional is like a traditional wife is the norm. I mean, it's been around for years.
The term has been around for years.
The
but has
role?
but has the traditional wife?
I don't think
been-
I don't think traditional wife is the norm. I think we're coming to a day and age where traditional wife is becoming, or traditional woman just in general is becoming less, I guess
Rare.
it's becoming more rare. Yeah. So like, you know,
In America, per se, right? Like, 'cause
Ideally,
that's
yeah.
pretty much what these passport bros.
what they
are
call it,
Yes.
Western society.
So the traditional woman is becoming very rare in Western society, aka
Very.
just America. I feel like it's just America whenever
Well,
they say Western.
England too.
I really don't think they count it, bro.
They don't count England
like,
as the West?
whenever they're like shitting on Western America or the Western world, it's America.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Well, go ahead.
Nah, so I think like the traditional woman is becoming a little bit more scarce, and like feel like, to be honest with you, it's not even so much a feeling. Like it's very apparent that the modern women and like the feminist movement is like creeping into women in relationships these days, and it's causing. I think that's what's causing the friction between men and women in relationships, despite the cheating, all the other stuff that comes into play, the infidelity. But like the primary like the foundation of what a man's supposed to do, what a woman's supposed to do, is kind of being broken away and being pushed by feminists.
So I would disagree with you on one part, because I feel like the foundation of what men are supposed to do, that standard is sticking. That still holds, right? I feel like the expectations that women have for men, right, they've been pretty consistent. I don't think those are going away, right? Like,
well, yeah, that's a valid point.
Right?
Right.
I think men are still expected to, be head of household,
be chivalrous,
pay for things, protect, right?
And
like
women are still expected to serve the man, take care of the kids, clean the house. Those are things that every man expects a woman to do.
Very true. I think men still do expect that, right? But are women being compliant to those expectations?
And I think that's enough, to be quite honest with you. I think the expectation, I think you expect is a hard word, because I feel like so many men nowadays are pretty much being pushed into the ideology of just accepting what women have to offer. And they're no longer even saying like, hey, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to look for. So no longer are they saying like, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to look for, and I'm going to, push that onto the other person. They're just willing to be with a woman regardless of what she has to offer. She could be a complete like dud, like just adds no value to the relationship, and they're just willing to accept that. I think we broke away so far from where men used to be, and we have this stereotypical idea of like what a man is, where they're controlling and aggressive and all that stuff. And I don't really think that's so apparent in today's world, in today's standard.
I think when like people kind of like describe a traditional man, that's like they go to the immediate negative, right? Which like is just portrayed on like TV, right? Like whenever like they show like an old school movie, it's like that fucking dude is just like backhanding a wife like there's no tomorrow, right? Like, and I'm sure that happened, right? Like that had to come from somewhere, right? But like, was every husband back in the 70s like that? Like, do you think that's a reality? I don't think so, right?
I doubt it.
I think they're trying to like.
I don't put it past.
You think most men were like that back in the day?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Like, that's just like an assumption, or like, do you have some type of like?
It's definitely an assumption. I don't have any
like nothing to back it.
Evidence.
Nothing to back it.
But I just feel like it was more a conservative time, and gender roles were the immediate process in a relationship.
Yeah, for sure. I said, I don't like deny that. I think gender roles were like very big. I don't think there was like no mixture of gender roles.
No,
back
not at all.
in the day, right? And I can see some negatives with that. I mean, as a father, I can see like like those dads not having anything to do with their children. I think that's a problem. I think in today's world, like I think dads are way more involved with their kids. Like I don't mind that thing with the gender role. I think some of the gender roles like that's getting mixed up is like I said, I think men are still expected to do certain things, right? Like, yo, my girl will never take the garbage out. Like
ever.
Ever.
Like them shits could pile
ever.
up. Like, yo, like that could pile up. Like they'd be like, actually, I walked into 3 bags today. Like, you feel me?
Like if I get tired of it, I'll tie up the bag.
No, she tied him up. No,
I'll tie up
she's
the
bag.
She's a good tire. But it's getting put by the door.
She don't even bring the shit downstairs. Like that stays up. But like that is an expectation she has for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a gender role that like my girl has for me, right?
Yeah.
And I just accept it, right? Now there's gender roles that I expect from her that she's not too fond of, right? And that's like when I feel like this modern woman kind of thing came along, because it's like, all right, like I said, she still has these expectations for me because I'm a man.
Which you execute.
Which I do execute, right?
Right.
But I also have certain expectations for her that I get resistance on, right?
So
and I feel like and I'm not like out of the norm here. I feel like a lot of the men I talk to have these issues with their girls.
So are you implying that majority of the women don't execute
their roles?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
In America.
Majority?
In America.
Majority, yeah.
So
I'll stand on it, majority.
All right, before I say the word majority, right? I'm just gonna say this, right? I would say in my immediate world, right? And that's just like, and I'm not to say, like, my girl does 98% things that I expect her to do, right? So these are just like 2% things that I'm focusing on. But I do survey a lot of men like in my life that I know like personally, right? Like, and I ask them like, and that's usually just for like kind of research purposes, like for these episodes. It's like, yo, what are issues that you're having with your girl, right? And I do go through social media and I research like what are the issues that our men are complaining about. And I feel like a common issue is like their women are not succumbing to like their gender expectations, but they still do have those expectations of the men. That's very hypocritical, right? And I could see why these passport bros could be like, yo, you know what? I'm sick of being held to a certain standard, but every time I go hold a woman to a certain standard in this country, they're like, fuck that. I don't gotta like submit to you. Cause it's like, as soon as like you tell a woman like, yo, this is what I want, and this is what I expect from you, she could just be like, well, I don't really need you financially anymore, so I don't have to do these things, right? I'll just go find another guy, or I'll go be by myself. Where men are like, all right, like I don't have to do these things, but I'll still do them because I care for you. And I feel like that's where a big shift is.
I mean, even outside of that, like you could start saying, hey, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. And that's when they start throwing in terms of you being insecure, you being controlling, you being all of these things. When it's like,
zesty.
exactly, you know, and it's like, how is it fair for you to say that you have a certain expectation of me, but the moment I say these things, I have toxic masculinity, you know, I have these negative connotations that come along with it.
I feel like submissive women are definitely still alive.
No, they're here.
They're here.
They're a dying breed.
That's why we said. That's why I said most.
I mean, it's a clouded view.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of other things that go into executing these actual roles. Sometimes there's a barrier and the roles are not being executed in the most healthy way or as frequent as they should.
Who do you think's putting up the barrier? Men or the women?
Both.
Both. Okay.
What barriers would you say? What do you mean?
Day-to-day trials and tribulations and being in a relationship at this day and age. The media influencing the relationships and building certain mindsets around trusting and just the day-to-day. I feel like it should be easy, but it's not. And I'm a woman who feels like I'm dominant and I can handle my own, but I feel like I want to be submissive and I try to be as much as possible without
getting redirected.
I mean,
getting redirected.
I think the biggest thing that you said right there is that the media has an influence on it, which is partially true. You know, media, it's social media in itself.
I blame Cardi B.
Social media in itself and the music, you know, definitely has an influence on the way how people perceive relationships are supposed to be, right? And we go throughout life, and a lot of times, you know, we learn from our parents, but I feel like we tend to be more so influenced by our friends, social media, all of these other things that come into play. So when you see Susie on the internet saying X, Y, and Z about relationships and that what she ain't and what she gonna do for her significant other, and Johnny over there saying I ain't doing this for no bitch and all these other things, it's like, okay, you know, that's how things are supposed to go. After enough times of seeing it, it becomes more okay to where that you start to get conditioned into believing that this is how relationships are supposed to be.
Definitely.
Which I don't think that it's appropriate, you know, like obviously what we're seeing today is that relationships aren't lasting as long as they have. They're not really having as much significant value. People are cheating on each other left and right. There's all these different factors that are coming into play right now with the modern dating scene. So for, you know, kind of jumping ahead, but like for people that decide to do this thing called the passport bros or get their passport and go overseas and try to find a traditional woman, it doesn't surprise me, you know, like it doesn't surprise me that we're seeing men going overseas to try to find traditional.
Going down, they're like, I'm not trying to be a part of this shit.
100%. It's like, you know, if this is the dating pool that I have to deal with, then, you know, why waste time vetting through all of these possibilities that may fail? Like I may just go to a place where the percentage maybe might be much higher. You know, it's like I could go overseas and I could find somebody that, yeah, I may not, you know, have an attraction to them, or we may not connect on we may not connect on like a deeper level, but if I'm not gonna get any resistance, then I'm just okay with that. You know, like I'm okay with finding somebody that is gonna kind of adhere to my wants and me also cater to theirs as well. Because I think we're forgetting the big picture here, where it takes two in a relationship. So she could, yes, she's coming over here for an opportunity, but like, you know, he's gonna have to cater to her as well in some sort. Also,
level.
she's gonna have to reap some benefits as well.
Well, that brings me to my next point. So when I was doing my research on the passport bros, it seems like there's two types of passport bros. There's like the type where I think most people think of immediately, and that's just dudes like traveling to like DR and like, you know, these other countries and just paying for ass,
Right.
like for $40, which is like probably like $1 million in
Dollar-
their fucking,
right.
you know, in their country, right? And then to me, the passport bros that are just looking for ass, like they're specifically like traveling to other countries for ass, like I think it's kind of some loser shit. I mean, to a degree. I'm not saying like I'm not trying to bash them all the way, but it's just like, all right, like, because I'm the type of guy like I like women to want me for myself, you know what I mean? Like, and like not like a literal exchange of money. And I like almost the hunt, you know what I'm saying? Like when I'm dating, I want you to I want to feel like, yo, I won you over on some level, right? So like when you go overseas and just pay for ass, like that just completely like disqualifies that, right? Like it's just like you have zero interest in me, right? Like you're just in here for the money.
Yeah.
And then the other type of passport bro is the passport bro that's actually looking for a wife.
Right.
Like they're going overseas to find a wife. I feel like that's a little more honorable to me because it's like, yo, you're not really like moving like to another country for lust. Like you're moving there for love, right?
Yeah.
And I think because most men nowadays, they're not really looking to get married, it seems like, in America, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're the type of guy that's actually trying to get married, right, it means that you actually have to try in this country. Like you gave it some type of effort to find a wife in America, and you just couldn't, right? Like for whatever reason, the standard women here just were not up to par for you. So that means like you have to go overseas to do it. I think if you're that type of passport bro, I think, like I said, it's a little more honorable, and I could be a little more understanding of it because it's like, you know, you're fed up.
It's a little bit more understanding because it is a form of using your options.
Yeah.
Women do it. Women do find men overseas. Women do fantasize men from out of the country with money. I just don't agree with the suppressing. Like, if that's what you like, then that's what you like, and leave it at that. Don't put any women in a box. Don't put American women in a box. Not all American women are
like
that or not submissive.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think there's any absolute, right, when you're speaking. Like, if you're gonna say like when these passport bros, they do talk very absolute. They're saying like all American women are like this. Obviously not. You know what I mean? Like, I think we've all dated or been around women that like, all right, like,
that you enjoyed or you thought was an honorable woman.
Yeah, honorable women that are submissive, right? Like that fit the bill of what you want in a woman. I mean, for whatever reason, it may not have worked out right, but like good women do live in America. Right?
Absolutely. I think, but like I said, I don't think that the issue is that, I mean, we all know we don't know all the women in America, right? So there's no way to say that every single person is like, every single girl is a piece of shit. It's just like, within the dating pool, like I said, with social media and everything going on, it makes sense on why they would go to some place where that stuff isn't as influenced, or the people over there aren't as influenced as over here, where the probability may be much higher, where the traditional values go beyond just person to person. It goes like generational. You know, your parents teach you how to, you know, treat your significant other and treat your home values, how to cook, how to clean, how to do these certain things, which isn't the case over here. You know, like there are some women that don't have these values as adults, you know, and it's like, how can you, it makes sense when you're playing a game of probability to just go to a place where it's a higher probability for that.
I mean, one thing that I ran into like in my life, which was like, to me, this day still cracks me up. Right. I was actually with a woman that didn't know how to mop.
Like she didn't know how to mop a floor.
Which is insane.
Yo.
Bro. It's a crazy thought.
I couldn't fathom it, yo. Like, yo, when she told, yo, because at first I'm like, yo, like the kitchen was dirty, right? And I'm like, yo, so like, are you gonna clean the kitchen? Like, because I typically was cleaning the kitchen when we were together, right? And I was like, yo, like, can you mop the floor? And she's like, yo, like, I don't know how to mop. I'm like, can you teach me how to mop? And I thought she was fucking with me. I'm like, nah, like, all right, bro. Like, if you don't want to mop the floor, like,
just say that.
All right, just.
There's many ways you can say that.
Yeah, like, yo, but then I realized, yo, she literally did not know how to mop a floor.
Okay, but what kind of mop? Like, I have questions. What kind of mop did you have? Like,
it's a stick with like those whatever things at the end.
I don't think
So
no
it
matter
wasn't a
what kind of
Swiffer
mop.
You just dip it in the water and then you mop. Like,
There's
it's
no
not-
excuse for this.
yo, this is like, yo, I didn't have like an advanced technology mop. Like, it's like old. It's the mop that's been around since like the wheel was.
You know what it is? It's the mops their grandparents
Yo,
were
and she
using.
said,
That's what
yo,
it
like,
is.
yo, she said, yo, her parents or her mom never taught her how to fucking mop.
So
Which is the
did she-
problem in
Yo,
itself.
and
That's what
that's
I'm
like-
saying.
So to me, like to this day, right, I still think about that situation. Like, so whenever like situations like this come up, I'm like, yo, I do get the frustration of some men with American women because it's like, yo, if you can't even learn how, like, if you don't know how to mop, like, there's no way you're gonna be able to run a household, right? So it's like, and if you can't run a household, right, like if you can't do your female duties, as some men call it, right, it means I have to do it, right? So now I have to still fulfill my male duties and then chime in and chip in on your female duties, right? So like, yo, that relationship becomes very unbalanced to a man and very unfair, right? And it's like, yo, if I'm dealing with this shit, like I might as well go overseas where like a chick knows how to sweep and mop.
It makes sense though. Like bro, it's so confusing to me. Like how people try to still argue this. You know, like where that women aren't becoming as traditional as they once were before. You know, it's like I feel like women are becoming. We had this conversation before.
I was
Where women
mopping
are
at 10 years old. yo.
women are becoming more masculine and men are becoming way more feminine these days. And it's for
I
whatever
still
reason.
I still disagree with you on that. Bro.
But
I
who do you place the blame on? Like, where is the blame game coming into play?
I don't think it's a blame.
I think
That's the
I'll
thing.
tell you what the blame is. It's blame is a strong word. I'm not going to use that word, but I'll tell you what I think the cause is, right? Because the cause is women being able to work, right? Which, like I said, it's not a problem, like, right?
That's a wild.
That's a wild statement. Like,
Yo, all right, so because prior, like your grandma, right? She probably not being able to work, right? Generally, like your grandmas didn't work, right? Like I don't know how your grandma,
specifically, but yeah,
my grandma didn't work,
Okay.
right? Like she just
Took care of the
maintained
household,
right?
right?
Like now more women are going into the workforce, right? So yo, if you're working all day, right? Like you're not gonna want to come home and fucking take care of like all the house chores, right? Right?
that goes back to what I was saying. The everyday trials and tribulations of
Yeah.
a relationship plays a part in
No, for sure.
executing.
So yo, all right, so you just worked all day, right? As a woman, like you just worked as many hours as your man, right? Like so yo, he's working 40 hours, you're working 40 hours, right? So when you come home, like you're like, yo, I'm not gonna be the only one cleaning. I'm not gonna be the only one cooking. Like, yo, we need to divvy up these responsibilities, right?
Mhm.
So that's why like the traditional values are getting lost amongst women, which I said that's not a problem, right? Like if you're a woman, you should be allowed to work and make your own money and, like live on your own. Like that's your choice, right? But here comes the issue with men and women nowadays, right? So now you're working 40 hours, I'm working 40 hours, right? But you don't want to do your gender roles anymore, which I understand, right? Because, yo, you just worked as hard as me, right? It's not fair for you to come home and have to do all the cooking and cleaning, right? That's not fair to you, right?
No, it's not fair.
Exactly, right? But is it fair for me to have to work those 40 hours and come home and still have to fulfill all my gender roles that you expect out of me?
It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to you. So we have to figure it out.
But that's the thing, right? And I feel like that's the issue with a lot of these passport bros are having with American women.
They don't want to figure it out though. So they rather fly across the seas where they don't have to figure it out, where they don't have to respect what a modernized woman goes through. That she's socially aware, that she makes her own money.
I mean, because I'm not going to disagree with you because now we're assuming like that these guys that like are passport bros haven't tried to figure it out. Like we could say that, we can't. Like we don't know, right? Like I wish we had one here to fucking interview. Like
I mean, that guy in the video did not try to figure it out.
he didn't try.
No, he didn't try.
He's out.
He just went straight there,
Like, he
bro.
was out. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's what the issue is coming from, right? Like men and women are working equally, right? And now like those gender expectations, right? Like women are not finding them fair to themselves, but like they still expect them from men. Now it's like, you don't want to do the shit that I'm saying your grandma did, right? But you want me to do the shit that my grandfather did. That's a big problem, right? Because what do men want nowadays from women, right? They want to go 50-50 on the bills. Women do not want that.
Right.
But why not?
Most women, I guess, don't want it. I see it a lot on social media. I hear it from my friends, from my peers around me. Me personally, I'm more comfortable that way. I mean, it doesn't have to strictly be 50-50.
Okay.
It could be 70-20. It could be anything. But I'm more comfortable.
But who got the 70?
whoever is
Just say
in the
him.
Position.
Just say him. Just
Your
say him.
Your nigga got that 70.
You know, we on a.
We're not trying to get too personal. So I got you.
But I feel like for me personally, at least, it's traditional values within a relationship without the gender roles.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Sorry.
I want to take care of him like he take care of me.
I honestly don't think with men and women working at equal rates that gender roles can exist. Like they just can't coexist, right? But with like knowing that, you have to take those expectations away. Like you as a man, you can't expect your woman to do all the cooking and cleaning if she's working just as hard as you. And you as a woman, you cannot expect your man to take care of all the like manly duties that like men typically take care of, right? If he's working just as hard as you, like you have to divvy those up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of resistance is coming from women, because they're like, yo, I still want you to do, like I said, my girl right now, she doesn't work full time, right? But when she did, she still expected me to take that garbage out every single time, right?
Mm-hmm.
She still expected me to pay 70-20, but yo, we're both working the same amount of hours, generally speaking, right? But why are my expectations still being held?
I don't think you gave the cause as being women being able to work, which I don't think is the original cause. I think it's honestly the feminist movement. I think like
that's a branch of it,
essentially, yeah. But the primary source is the feminist movement, where it turned away from women being equal and having equal rights, equal pay, all of these things, and it now is kind of, we talked about this in other realms of it being they want superiority over a relationship.
But what do you think that superiority is backed up off from? Like what backs that thought, that state of mind?
I think the driving force is women being able to work.
Exactly.
The driving force is that they have their own money, but
because now, right, which I think is a good thing for women, right? Like you don't have to depend on a man, right? Like you don't have to stay in a miserable relationship or marriage for like 80 years with a guy that you fucking hate, because if you leave him, you're gonna be homeless, right? I think that's good for women, right? But I think that's what caused the issue. Like now, how to solve it, I'm not sure. I think it's good that women work. I think when you're in a real relationship, right, a healthy relationship, and both people are making money, I think it's a lot easier to get to your
your
financial goals, right?
Yeah.
It's fun. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's safe. It's reassurance without having to do half of it. That I got you and you got me.
I mean, primarily for me, like, I'm single, but like off of my previous situation, she definitely held her role in being, the woman in the house.
She's an American woman, right?
Right. And which is, like I said, that's one of the attractions for me, and what led me in the relationship for so long was because she was definitely holding her part, but then I had to hold my part in certain areas as well. I had to be chivalrous in certain things. She expected me to lead in certain things. So it's not so much that I don't really ever see men giving resistance toward them having to uphold their standard. I think it's just having an uneven playing field where it's like, okay, I'm expected to do this, and this is what I am doing, and which I'm only getting, sex at the end of the day. I'm only having this extra, I'm just having this body here at the end of the day. Like there's really isn't no other benefit. Like you're not making my life easier. I'm still having to come home. And some guys are okay with that. Some guys are okay with, going out and then coming home and then, cleaning their household, while other guys,
basically getting taken advantage.
Essentially, and while the woman just,
I don't feel like there's a big percentage in this day and age where that's the case.
Really? Okay.
You know what I'm gonna say? I don't think it's much in the urban community, but I can really see it in the white community, where white men typically are more okay with being less dominant.
I can agree with that, because when I think of a housewife, I think of maybe a Caucasian woman, a soccer mom, or.
Why does that have to be that though?
That's actually a sad way to think. You don't think so?
It's not a sad way. I'm not saying that I don't see myself. Okay. I'm not saying I don't see another black woman, and I'm not saying that.
I mean, no, you literally said it.
I know what I said, but what I meant was.
Okay, there we go.
Let's clarify that.
Yeah, let's clarify it. It's not that I don't see myself or another black woman. I said that branching off of him.
Okay.
Making the point that it's maybe that case a little more in urban areas. I'm from an urban place.
Right.
So that's what I'm stemming off of. And growing up as a woman, watching movies, seeing TV, that's what caused me to say.
I mean, so
say that. That's what I imagine.
So I have a question for you. Do you think it is fair, or not even fair? Do you think women do have a right to still demand men play a masculine role in a relationship, like they're like the old traditional roles in a relationship?
Yes, I do.
Why you say that? Like, why do you think it's okay?
I think it's okay to,
like, paying for the first date, doing all the heavy labor, shoveling snow, taking out the garbage, doing manly things, fixing shit around the house. Like, why is it that it's okay in your eyes for a man to still continue those things that they're doing?
Because that's what she wants. I think that's.
Definitely, personally, it's something that I will want, and it's something I will want for him though as well. Like, especially if he's a man, that those are the things that he believes makes him a man, and they make him feel good when he executes them and he does them. I'm not just barking down his neck like, because I want you to do this. Like, I enjoy him doing things that make him feel like a man, because I want to be with a man at the end of the day.
Right.
That's what I want.
So how come you're against that and the traditional values of women, or the old values of a woman, like, you know, staying at home, cleaning, cooking, doing those things? I'm
not necessarily against them, but they have been turned into something negative, something that's easily judged. Like, if you're not doing, for women, if you're not doing it to the T, then you're on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
You think men are like judging women like that?
Yes.
Because I feel like women nowadays are looking down on women that hold the traditional values. Like, I feel like I've seen like
that is a truth. That is a fact.
Like TikTok.
I agree.
About women like shitting on women that are traditional. Because anytime there's a woman like bragging about like, oh, I'm a stay-at-home wife, you will see women in those comments be like, yo, you're dumb, like you're brainwashed, like, yo, they're trying to shame traditional women out of here. Like I said, then, which brings me back to these passport bros, right? Where it's like, yo, I'm starting to kind of see why they're doing it, right? Because I don't think, like, you know, like, I'm from Brazil, and me looking at it, it's like, yo, when I compare like my age group here and the age group over there, right? Like, yo, almost none of my friends here are married, if any, right? They're still kind of fucking around, and it's like, yo, that's fine, right? Almost all the people I know in Brazil in my age group are either married or engaged, right? So the mentality in Brazil, which is another country, right, like, is way different than America, right? So like I said, if you're like a dude in his 30s that is looking for a serious relationship, where most women are now having their hot girl summer, right? Like, they're not, a lot of women are not looking to settle down at this point. And that's what just, it seems like in my immediate world, right?
Okay.
And if you are as a man, right, like, you can't settle down with a woman that doesn't want to settle down, right? Then you gotta go overseas, like, if that's what you're looking for a wife. One of the issues though that I've or hypocrisies I've noticed amongst these passport bros is, like, you know, most men in America, right, hate gold diggers. Right? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't like a gold digger, right?
Right.
Like, no man wants to feel like he's being
used for his
right,
money,
by a woman, or used by his money, right?
I mean,
so my only thing is, like, yo, when these passport bros are going overseas, like, these women are looking at them for their money, I'm assuming, right? Like, when you go out the plane, like, yo, they know you're American. They know you have
definitely
some
a
type
two-way
of money,
street.
right? Like, yo, you're, like I said, like, $1 here is like 6 in Brazil or some shit. Like, I mean, so I'm assuming, like, a lot of these passport bros go to Thailand. I think bro, I actually, like, has read something or seen something, right? $60,000 in American money is like $3 million in the Philippines.
Wow.
Like, yo, you're a fucking king over there.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, yo, when you go overseas, like, these women initially, like, their attraction to you is all financial. It's a transactional relationship, right? So it's like, if you're not fine with the transactional relationship in America, then, like, why are you fine with the transactional relationship?
Because I feel like it's something
overseas.
It's something deeper. Like, it's something more that he may want or not necessarily have to voice or lead or not or correct.
I think it's more surface level. I think, to be honest with you, is because if I'm being used for my money over here, I'm not reaping any benefits from it anyways. Like, I'm not getting the things on the back end. But if I get used for my money overseas, it's like, okay, like, yes, I'm being used for my money, but I still get somebody that's gonna cook for me, somebody that's not gonna clean for me, somebody that's not gonna be argumentative and somewhat loyal to me. You know, so it's like, oh, if I'm gonna be used, why not get used to my benefit when I'm reaping some benefits from it in the long run either way? You know,
you know what? I can't even argue that.
Like, it's like,
all right. So either way, I'm gonna get used for my as a man. You're gonna get used for your money, right? Like,
right.
Like I might as well get used for my money, where like the money goes a lot longer.
I'm reaping some benefits from it.
The women are a lot more appreciative.
I feel like you have to live your truth and live it the way that makes you feel the best.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's like it does. But the thing that's kind of frustrating. It's like women typically, right, have conversations where they want a nigga that's taller than them. They want a nigga that make more money than them. They want a nigga that's stronger than them. They want a nigga to be masculine. They want a nigga to pay for the first dates. And nobody bats an eye at that, right?
Standard.
Nobody bats an eye. But the moment a guy says that he wants a woman that is traditional, a woman that's loyal to him, a woman that's not sleeping around, he gets demonized for that.
Bro, you can't even say you want a woman that's fit in America.
But that's the problem.
That's like fat shaming out here. You're like, I want a chick that's like
slim,
150, 140. It's like what? Cancel him. Call his job. Get him fired. Like.
My point is exactly, like, you're fat shaming and you're body shaming them, and it's like, why is it okay for one group of people to disclose their wants and their needs and what their expectations, but it's not okay for another person to disclose theirs? Just because I may not fit that, like, okay, you're gonna find somebody else that is willing to do that. Like, I may be short, I may be a person that's only making $50,000 a year. I may be a person that's has a small frame, and most of these guys, I mean, we do hear them call what are they called these days? What's the term that they use? The guys that like get online and start bashing women.
Infidel. I'm thinking about infidel.
No, incels. Yeah.
Infidel.
What is involuntarily celibate? Like that's pretty much what it stands for, right? So that's
like
they go.
Yeah, no bitches.
Essentially, right? But outside of that, it's like generally speaking, like their voices aren't going much further than like behind just typing on a computer. Whereas it's like, men are being demonized for saying that this is the type of woman that they want, where they're not even saying anything wrong. Like, there's nothing is wrong with wanting a woman that's gonna cook and clean. Nothing is wrong with wanting a woman with traditional values.
But in America, it seems like there is something wrong with that. Like I said, like women, and I've seen like countless videos on like social media about this, like where I seen this one girl, right? She was bragging about how she's a stay-at-home wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the girls in the comments were like, "Yo, well, that dress doesn't scream stay-at-home wife. Like that dress, like they were just like shaming the shit out of her." I'm like, "Yo, damn, like yo, keep your mouth shut." Let me come out here talking about this traditional shit.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna play a video, which seems like this is like some type of foreign woman, like she's Asian.
Okay.
And it seems like for whatever reason, like Asia is like, or the Philippines, Thailand, like is where a lot of these passport bros are going to, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it must mean like that the women over there are what they're looking for, whatever that is. I don't know,
right.
But we'll see. But like this, so this is I seen this video.
Seeing a lot of these passport bros video going around where American women are getting kind of upset that men are leaving America to find their woman. They go to places where women speak a little English. No education whatsoever. However, that's not the reason. The reason why men do that is because the women out there are loving, caring, nourishing, feminine, and the food top notch. So it's like essentially what a man want. Chinese, I'm from Hong Kong. We do shit on men a lot. We are bossy. However, we do been praising them when they're being an excellent man. Versus, I've seen lots of women in America, they would be like, as he should. You see the difference? Like, that's just very ungrateful. Men are really easy to please. Just give him his time and space. Be his peace of mind instead of a headache when he come home. Respect him. Appreciate him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that kind of just struck a nerve with me. that part where she said, as he should, I could definitely relate to that because in my personal relationships, like I feel like anytime I've done what I was supposed to do, right, there was no praise, there was no acknowledgement, right? Like, it was just like, all right, okay, that's what a man.
Like, you want a cookie,
right?
nigga?
Yeah, but anytime a girl I've dated has cooked me a meal or like cleaned something, right, like, and I didn't like
acknowledge it,
her, like, you know what I mean, like worship to her feet, like it was brought up to my attention, but it's like, yo, to me it's like, okay, you cook something like as you should, right? Like,
Right.
oh, you see how like the heat's still out here, like as I should, right?
Right.
So that struck a nerve with me, like, yo, because that is like a kind of a thing going on in America where like I said, women do have these expectations of men, and it's like, yo, all right, like you want a fucking cookie for doing what you're supposed to do, but as soon as they do something that they're technically supposed to do, right, like they do want acknowledgement. So that one, I didn't like that. Like I felt that one.
Yeah, that struck a nerve right there.
I can't say that I don't disagree or that I find anything that she said was wrong. I mean, it is like that over here. But like I said, it depends on who is in your immediate, like who you truly deal with.
Yeah. I mean, like, one thing she also said that I found interesting is it seems like I said, during my research, right, I saw tons of videos from women hating on these passport bros, right? Like, kind of just like bashing them, calling them losers. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you guys are worthless. Like, you know, like
They're
good riddance,
preying
you're
on
going anywhere.
women. They're,
But to me, it's like, all right, if you didn't want these guys to begin with, right, and they're going overseas, they're pretty much, you know, escaping here, right? Like, they're not even a threat to you. Like, why are women like getting upset from dudes that they didn't want anyway?
The slander.
I think that's a big one too. Like I preached before where like you can have preferences, but I think the issue that comes into play is when you downplay everyone else that doesn't fall within your preference. You know, like it's okay to not date a specific type of woman or a specific color of woman, but then when you like shit on that other party in the process of it, I think that's unnecessary.
You
like
think the men are doing that?
Yeah,
Yes.
like some men
The
definitely do
passport
that.
bros
like-
are doing that.
Yeah, I mean that one video we saw, like he definitely did that. But I did see other videos where they're kind of more just like highlighting the lifestyle overseas, and the women were just like, yo, like, you know, fucking losers and stuff like that. And it's just like, but why? It's like, yo, I mean, if you're getting directly attacked, right? If a passport bro saying like, yo, all American like this, and you fall into that, you know,
Right.
class, right? It makes sense to make a response video, right, to some degree, because it's triggering you.
Right.
Mhm.
But I did see somewhere like, yo, those guys were just literally like, yo, I'm here over here with my, you know, Filipino wife or Brazilian wife. And like there was like stitch videos of like, oh, well, like, here's why you're fucking wrong. And it's just like, yo, he's not even acknowledging you. Like,
Yeah.
why are you bothered? I think one of the reasons women are bothered by this is because even though these guys weren't really like in their radar, right? Like these women are losing some type of option because now like these men are leaving, right? Like I think some of these passport bros are like the guys that are constantly hitting up women, like they're in the DMs, right? Like they're like fifth, you know, string, like, you know, they're like their plan C type shit. Like, all right, like if this dude doesn't work out, and then this dude doesn't work out, and then this dude doesn't work out, like I'm going for him.
I'm a fuck with this guy.
Shit, like, wait, now you're not blowing me up anymore because like you're like with some fucking baddie overseas.
A
Like,
loser.
No, I don't like that shit.
Loser.
Yeah.
To-
Yo, I mean, like, yo, I'm pretty sure you've seen it, right? Yo, like, you've probably been like entertaining a guy that you were never gonna hit, but as soon as he kind of went away, you're like, like,
Fuck
wait,
this guy.
What happened?
You're supposed to be following behind me.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, and it's like, yo, you knew you never gonna fuck him, but like when he goes away, it's like, whoa, bro, like, what's your problem, man? Like,
In my
you're
younger
supposed to be a fan.
in my younger years, definitely that was crazy.
I mean, but we see it even outside of the passport bros, where like when black men decide to date white women, it's the same conversations. You know, we have the women that are in the comments are making the exact same comments, saying, you know, they're insecure, they want to go over there to people that they can control, all these other things. When there may be some truth behind that, you know, there may be a stem from insecurity, them not being masculine enough to date black women, or them being insecure and wanting to go over to the other race. But it's like, it all depends on preference, you know. There's always going to be some person that hates, you know, and I think that's what separates the two. Is like, people are always going to be, you know, when you start body shaming or saying like, I like this class of person or this type of person, there's always going to be the people that don't fall within that bracket that are going to be like, well, who the fuck are you to say some shit like that?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it is what it is. Like
You're not perfect.
exactly. Like, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, you can have a specific preference, but the problem that lies is when you start bashing and talking down on other people that,
Exactly.
you know, people within that thing. You could say your preferences without doing that, you know?
Yo, do you think American women need men? Or actually, let me ask you a better question. Do you think American women's standards are too high for men, and that's what's causing these passport bros to leave? Because that seems to be like the general consensus that like a lot of the videos I've seen of women kind of bashing these dudes is like, yo, our standards are too high and we're not going to lower them for you. So now you're running away from them instead of stepping up.
I think their standards are high.
Really, like what do you think is standard about?
I think the standard is high, but I think the output is low. That's what I think.
What do you think like what are like high about these standards that American women are putting on like American men?
Like we see before, you know, like or like I mean, like we said before, like we said before, where people tend to be definitely social media driven, and when they see people on social media living a certain lifestyle, they kind of want to emulate that as well. You know, men buying their girls Birkins and like you know blowing like $10,000 on like a birthday or a Valentine's Day, and it's like the bar gets risen anytime they see something like women see something like that. And not to say like women don't deserve that, but it's like I feel like there's a disconnect.
But you know I don't make that much money.
But there's a disconnect between like reality and and fantasy, right? And it's like, okay, well I see this guy did this, so that's gonna be my new baseline. And it's like, yeah, but the niggas around your area are not living that lifestyle like you just said. You know, like they're not able to attain those certain things. So the bar gets risen to a point where it tends to become unattainable. You know,
average man.
For the average person.
Yo, because like most women, right? They want a guy that makes like, you know, like 100,000 a year, 150,000 a year, right? Yo, and when you look that up, right, like it's a very few percent of men that actually make.
I think it's like 2%, 1% or something like that.
I think it's a little higher than that, right? But like, it's like, yo, so most women's like financial standard for a man is like, you know, within like the top percent of all men, right? So it's like, yo, most men are not gonna fit that criteria. But it's like, if you're making $50,000, right, and you know that's not enough for you know this American woman's like you know standard, like I said, you can go overseas and like that $50,000 is gonna stretch.
That shit gonna be long as fuck.
Yeah.
Appreciated apparently and appreciated.
I mean, do you think the standards for women in America are high?
The standards for women?
Yeah, or for men in America from women are high.
I think they can be. I don't think I see the majority. I don't think I see the bigger picture. So it's like I'm trying to find the words because my dating experience, and I'm not necessarily around a bunch of people who were well off, like on. So I don't want to say settling. I don't want to use that, but if that's the case, then I've settled. A lot of women around me that I've seen growing up, even now, are settling if our standards are this high for men and that they are obtainable. Because you say women, yeah, they want a 6'5" man, or he makes this, or but how many of us have them?
I think women want that.
but yeah, you are loved. But yeah, you are loved. You are fed, and sometimes even appreciated.
Not enough.
So
I think women are very vocal with what they want, and they kind of make it seem like that's the expectation. But like you said, typically that's not really the guy that they go for. You know,
if a woman vocalizes that's her want, right? But she ends up with you anyway, right? Like it almost seems to you like, damn, like she settled for me, right? And that's a shitty feeling. Like, yo, you don't want like to be with someone that you feel is like settling, right?
No, you definitely don't want it to feel like settling. It shouldn't feel like settling. But if you want to put everything in black and white like we're doing, then that's the case. And vice versa. I'm pretty sure if, I don't know how your women look, but if they had asses that look like Nicki Minaj's, you would be super satisfied and probably pursued her for it. But if she doesn't, you still love her. You're still with her. It's vice versa. If that's the case, you settle too.
Okay, I get saying like
that's actually a funny conversation. That's funny that you said that because like I was dating this girl one time, right? And like I make it very vocal that I like big breasted women, and she was small chest, or she had a small chest, and we would constantly get in arguments whenever I brought that up or said that I like big chested women, and it's like but I like that, but I'm still with you. And she
she was feeling like you were settled for her, yo. Like that's you gave her a shitty feeling, yo.
Which I could see it. But to be honest with you, it's like nonetheless, it's like, okay, like from the flip side, I guess how I was looking at it from then is like, you know, this is what I like, but I still decided to be with you, which means you have other values that like rise above that.
That overweigh though.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, it's like, even though I really, really like this shit, I like the shoes you got on. I'm willing to look past this one flaw like because you got something else going on.
Bro, most women don't like fat niggas, and I'm understand that, but I got a bomb ass personality, so like I understand that I'm gonna win them over with that shit.
Would you want to be reminded of that?
I don't give a fuck personally.
I think it's easier said than done.
To be honest with you, nah.
I don't think
really
I would
don't
want to
care.
be reminded. No, I wouldn't want to be reminded of.
It's like, yo, if your girl's kind of like constantly telling you, not constantly, but like set it enough where it's like, or posting on social media, like, yeah, I like fit guys, right? And it's like, all right, the first couple of times, like, okay, I get it. Like, you know, we don't all end up with our dream person. But it's like, yo, by like the last time, it's like, all right, bitch, like, you know I ain't fucking skinny.
Bro, if you coming home with me and like you loyal to me, I'm really easy to please. Like, you can have your fantasies, you can have what you want. I understand, like, when we go out in public, you're gonna be looking at the fit guy, the guy that's better looking than me. But at the end of the day, you come home with me. Like, that shit doesn't bother me. I feel like it bothers like people that have insecurity issues. Like, if you are insecure about who you are and what you have to offer, then yeah. Like, if you feel like I'm gonna lose my person for somebody that looks this type of way, then I can understand that. But generally, like for me, like I'm pretty confident in my own skin. You can be insecure. You know? So like
insecure with your person as well.
That's a fact.
I don't know, bro. I'm kind of calling cap on you a little bit here because I feel like, you know, we're all a little insecure, and I feel like sometimes like we don't know exactly where that insecurity comes from.
Right.
But that might be the source of it, right? Like you can't really connect the dots. Like, all right, like, damn, like I feel like she's cheating, but I don't really know why. Like she hasn't given me a reason, right? But like deep down, because it's like, damn, she said that one thing, like, yo, she like fits, like she like guys that are fit, right? But you're not connecting dots. But you like have you ever just felt insecure, like almost like a sixth sense, right? Like it's like a gut feeling, right? But you're like, yo, I don't know where this is exactly from. Like, and you try to rationalize yourself back into reality, but like it sticks with you, right? I think those are the projections of like those like little things that you think you didn't really care about, like kind of building up.
You know what it is? It's not like people typically become insecure, but I've been fat my entire life. Like people typically become insecure about their body, about their height, about their smell, about whatever it is, their facial features, whatever the case is, right?
Crazy.
You should be insecure about a smell.
Whatever it is, you know, they be insecure with like these superficial things. My insecurity doesn't come from that. Like my insecurity comes from like how you treat me. So if I feel like you're treating me a different type of way, then yeah, I'm gonna be insecure. If I feel like you're acting sneaky in a certain type of way, then yeah, I'm gonna be insecure. But it's not gonna be, oh well, you're acting this way because I'm fat, or you're acting this way because I'm a dark skinned nigga. Like I feel like you're acting this way because you got your own thing going on that's kind of shady. Like it's kind of completely two different things. Like it's like me and my body attributes or the qualities that I have, right, that you may not favor or that you may favor, is completely different than how I value your actions in a relationship and like your level, you making me feel secure in a relationship. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I know I'm not going to be the ideal physical body type or body preference of like my significant other, right?
Well, why not? Why do you feel like that? Is that not some type of insecurity?
Because of by American standards.
I think it's possible.
By American standards, like I said, by American standards.
That's to me is an insecurity.
It's not insecure because I'm comfortable with that. Like,
yo,
you know, somebody like
you're comfortable knowing you're not a good option.
No, I'm comfortable knowing that I may not be their first option.
That's a crazy thing to say to me, bro.
It is what
you don't think so? Like,
no, because I feel like I have to, bro. People
like I know I wasn't your first pick.
But you know what it is?
I think that's gonna weigh on you. I think over time, bro. I think that kind of thought, man, like that weighs on you.
Okay, let me throw some personal insecurities out and see how you guys feel about it. My man is 10 years older than me.
Okay.
Great.
Damn. I was like, I don't know if you're that Kevin Hart shit. Okay.
I don't play with kids. Okay. But so yeah, he's 10 years older than me. So
okay.
I don't have children.
Does he have a kid?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
So like you said, where sometimes you don't know where it's coming from or where to place it. Like I might think a thought might cross my mind and I'm like, maybe this was something super new for him. Maybe he is attracted to women his age. Okay. Maybe there is a woman who's his age who's going to connect with him intellectually more than I can because of the age difference. Maybe I have some qualities that he's not used to or that I don't have that he was used to because I'm not a mom or
you're kind of a 10 years is a big gap, right? Because you're like from a new
definitely
generation.
From a totally different generation. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm supposedly young and turnt at this time.
Yeah.
So, you know, them bitches old to me. Like, that's my initial. But at the end of the day, that thought does cross your mind. So that's like that insecurity. That's not really heart-wrenching insecurity. Like, you're insecure, you need help. It just crosses your mind.
But it plays with you a little bit, right?
It plays with you. It plays with me.
Yo, a little cougar might walk by when you're out together and be like, yo, is it
like, maybe he might be like, maybe I do need a woman. Like,
yeah.
a woman. Like, so.
Yo, she got a couple gray hairs on her. Like, you into this shit?
That's, you know what that is? Experience. That's what that is.
That's what I'm saying. But like, I get what you're saying, right? But it's like, yo, it doesn't like necessarily ruin the relationship with you, right? But it's in the back of your head. It's like, like
just maybe
it's a little dab of it, right? A little dab of insecurity.
It was crazy. I never thought about that. Maybe I'm just weird, bro. I never thought about that.
It may have been something that you built as a kid, like growing up.
Yeah.
That's why you don't
I
see
think
it.
You've projected it in different ways, and I don't think you've kind of connected it to the source.
Okay, Dr. Phil.
My bad.
Nah, like all right. So honestly speaking, like no bullshit. Like, I've never thought about it. You said like, why would I want to be someone's second pick? I think people typically like date for like superficial issues or superficial reasons, right? They really date with no substance these days. So they might be like, oh, this person is attractive and like I want to hook up with them. And I know like typically for me, you know, it's not so much of like, I think I'm a cute ass fat nigga, but like outside of that, I think it's also other values that I have as well. That's gonna be more things that secure it a little bit more.
Just be a cute dude,
bro.
Why do you gotta add the
bro?
fat?
There's no body positivity is bullshit, bro. Like let's call it like we see it.
But to me, that is a part of your insecurity because you gotta add the fat. Like, you could just be a good looking dude.
I feel like you don't understand it though.
What?
I feel like you don't understand where he's coming from because you haven't ever been his size. So it's always gonna be like from.
Are you kidding me? Like, yo, I'm 5'7", right? Which is very short in America, right? Like, and women are very vocal about these issues of men with like shorter heights, right? But if I say I'm good looking, like I don't add that on. Like, yo, I'm good looking for a short dude.
Nigga.
Like, I'm just good looking, right? Because to me, like, that hasn't been an insecurity, right?
Okay.
What I'm trying to say to him, like, bro, like, just say you're a good looking dude. Like, you don't gotta add the fat part, right? Because to me, that's where the insecurity kicks in, right?
Possibly.
But, yo, we have a friend who's a mutual friend of ours, right? Okay. He's my height, right? I don't know if you've ever noticed, but height comes up with him quite often.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And you ever notice like me and him are pretty much the exact same height, right? But have you noticed, like, do I speak about height like the way he does?
No,
like,
never.
It's a clear insecurity of his, right? Because he'd be the type to be like, yo, like, damn, I make $200,000 for a short dude. Like he'll just like, it's such a big deal to him, right? That he has to add that in because like for some reason it's like kind of like self-degradation, right? Because it's like, yo, you're just a good guy, man. Like I'm saying, like you don't have to add that.
I appreciate you thinking like that, but I don't know. I never really thought about the fact that like maybe it's a stem from insecurity, but I don't know.
It's like, yo, for you, like, yo, you're a good girl. Like, you're not a good young girl. You know what I mean? Like, for your man, like, you don't have like.
I see what you're saying because it's like, you know what's disrespectful when somebody says, "Oh, you're cute for like a black girl." That is like extremely disrespectful.
But that will like that's an insecurity, right? It's like, yo, it's a backhanded compliment, right? So, yo, don't give yourself backhanded compliments. Just say like, yo, this is what I am, like, and there's no other like extension to it.
In my sense, I feel like I'm not so much giving it a backhanded compliment. I'm just calling it like I see it. You know, like we hear about it all the time where like America's beauty standards is this, you know, for men and is this for women. And generally speaking, I don't fit America's beauty standards because I'm not a muscular. Fucking.
But that's my thing, right? Who does? Like, yo, like, and like I said, this might be a reason why these passport girls exist, right? Because most of them probably don't fit America's beauty standards, right? But like, yo, it's like just how women want a guy that makes $100,000, right? Like, and it's like 3% that actually do it.
Yeah,
that goes by the same way for like physical like, you know what I'm saying, traits, right? Like, yo, whenever someone like describes their ideal body, right, like of the opposite sex, right, like they're not describing the general public, right? Like it's that 10% top tier woman or man, right? So like it's kind of the same thing to me.
Possibly. I mean, gonna have to agree to disagree.
All right. Good. All right. Before we finish this up, there is one more clip I want to show, and I think this is a darker side to the Passport Bros that I didn't originally think of, but I saw this, and so pretty much this woman thinks that Passport Bros are predators, like they're going overseas to like be predators to these women, right? So I'll play her clip, and there's like a response video from a guy, and then we'll go over it.
We don't talk enough about how passport bros are just predators. You're leaving America to go to another country.
Okay, ma'am. You know them passport boys gonna have a lot to say about that. What you said, talk about men are being predators. Men ain't being predators. They exercise their options. Why is it an issue when women go overseas? Hell, they even made a movie. Still got a groove back. She went over there, got her groove back. So what's wrong with men going to get their groove back? If it ain't working, it ain't working. I think what happens is women, y'all like to bash men for exercising their options. You gotta understand, our only option is not you, man. We have options just like you have.
So we kind of went over like the exercise and options part anyways. So I do want to touch more on like what she said, and it's like, are these passport bros like predators? Like, are they going there to like, you know, manipulate the women in those countries? What do you think? Do you think these guys are predators? That's a heavy word, first of all.
I feel like you can't put it past. You can't say that it's not happening or it can't happen.
Okay.
Predator in the sense of what?
I think what the way she's implying it is that like these men are going overseas to take advantage of these women in like, you know, shittier situations, right? Like they know
Advantage of what sense though?
I guess I don't know, bro.
For instance, the Asian woman, I think she said that they're perceived to have little to no education, speak little English, things like that. Those things that she said, which she flipped it but those were true. Those are.
You think so?
It's still a little true.
Yo,
it's still a little
I
true.
think it's very I
That's true.
actually think it's very like American superiority like syndrome to assume like that women overseas are that far off. Like are they like that in like that much of a shitty situation compared to which, you know, the women in America are, right? Because I think because women here have bachelor's degrees, right? They're thinking like, well, those women over there must be idiots, right? Because if they're accepting these men, they don't know any better.
I don't think they're idiots. I think that they're less socially aware. I think that they're molded, kind of.
Over there?
Yeah.
I can see where it can be them going overseas and women looking at it from like a manipulation standpoint and wanted to control the women over there and kind of like brainwash them into, I guess, being like their
But I think
slave.
I don't think we're giving these women enough credit, bro. Like
100%. I mean, we both have family from overseas.
It's kind of funny that they're looking at these like they're looking down on these women, but these women are smart. Like they know what these men are coming there for, right?
Right.
Like it's either sex or a wife, right? And if it's like, you know, if it's the wife one, right? They like, all right, like, and even if you're like, you know, a woman that's interested in a man for money, right? I think there still needs to be some type of compatibility and some attraction, right?
Right.
So I think these women are smart. Like, they're seeing an opportunity, right? And they're just going with it. I don't really think. I think it's almost the opposite. I think like you could look at it both ways because these women are looking to take advantage of these men and they're an opportunity that they're bringing when they go to their country.
Which is another thing that I was gonna bring up earlier too. It's like women in America typically, you know, use men for their money and going on dates and knowing that, like you said, knowing that they don't want to sleep with these guys or knowing that they want nothing from these guys, but just using the opportunity for a free meal or a come up or whatever the case is, right? So like now that a guy may be possibly doing that, it's like it's bad for them. Like that,
yeah, but those women are doing the same thing that the women in America are doing, right? But
essentially.
now the thing is like, they're
with
not,
their men.
It's not the
yeah,
same
but they're
thing.
losing the bill.
A free meal or a pointless date is not the same thing of saying, hey, these women are better. They're better to marry.
No, from the females, from the woman's standpoint.
You're like still looking on the. I get the bashing thing.
So am I supposed to be general now?
No, from the woman's standpoint, like what the women out there are doing with the men that come over to their countries and try to get with them. They're looking at it from a come up as well. Like the women in America are you know, they take these free meals, they go on these dates, they get these sugar daddies for an opportunity, which these women that are in other countries, they get these guys that go over there for an opportunity, you know? And it's like, how much is he really praying if the prey want to be caught? You know, it's like, if they're accepting of it and they're like, okay, well, this is an opportunity for me to, you know, get out of the slums or put my family on or create a life in America. Because people in America don't really understand how America is perceived, or like how much value comes from living here,
or actually just how good it is over here.
Essentially,
bro,
right.
I don't think people appreciate toilets enough. Nah, for real, like, yo, you go overseas, like
bro, you're shitting in a hole.
Yo, you live in different countries. The toilet system here is immaculate. Like American, yo, you don't appreciate American toilets until you go overseas, bro. Like,
bro, I remember.
I mean, you're a bidet guy, right? Like, yeah, you could fuck.
Bro,
that.
no. But I've been in the trenches, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
I remember growing up, like, I had to, like, you had to go, like, the toilet was never inside of the house. You had to go outside in the backyard, and it's always like far away from the house because you don't want that scent coming back inside of the crib.
Yeah.
Rain. Like, no matter what, hot summer, you're in like this little
lizards
hut, like a little metal hut, baking in there trying to take a shit, and the shit stink because it's like a damn near like a not a portal, it's a porta potty, right? Yeah, something similar to like that, an outhouse, exactly, and that thing be kicking. So trust me, I get it. But people in America don't really understand like how much value comes from like living over here, you know? And it's like
how much value there is in the dollar,
essentially, right? So it's like this person is looking at the situation like, okay, I can come over here and I could, you know, create a new life and, you know, have an opportunity where it may be like an even exchange. Like, yes, he wants some pussy or a wife or whatever the case is.
He wants a lifestyle. He wants a certain lifestyle from a woman.
Right.
You know, he's not getting over here. Or it seems like a lot of these dudes when they go overseas, like they're actually staying over there. Like, which, like I said, but like, you might go over there with like $200,000 saved up, right? And like, you could live off that shit for the next like 15 years.
Right.
It's like, what? It makes sense, I think, especially with like how expensive things are getting in America. Like, I get the financial aspect of it.
Yeah, you go over there, my friend live in Mexico. Like one of my boys live over there.
Passport, bro.
Nah, he's actually for different reasons.
That's what they say.
Right. So, but he lives in Mexico right now, and he's telling me like, yo, his rent is like, I think I want to say it's around. It was $50. I think his rent just got up to like 125 or something like that.
$50 for rent?
Yeah, $50
a
American
month?
dollars a month. Yeah.
Oh,
Bro,
American
you can't
dollars.
rent like
Yeah.
2 feet in an American household with $50.
Bro survives off of $50, like eating for like the month, like good.
Yo, that's
you know?
a night out in America. $50 is a night out. Like
You can't even rent a hall to host an
$50 is
event.
not a night out. $50 is like the first bar.
it's a quiet evening.
It's for
It's
real.
a humble evening.
You really gotta, if you're on a $50 budget, you're really budgeting your drinks. Like,
Yo, you know what I was thinking about too, yo? You know who like the real passport bros were, or the original passport bros, yo, is military men. If you think
essentially,
about it,
yeah.
yo, they're the ones that's been going overseas for years and just like having
Slaying,
Right.
bro, just slaying women over there, impregnating
they
them.
coming back and bragging about it, yo. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to the American military.
Which, like I said, I don't think it's too far fetched. I to agree with her. I think it's just the bashing. You know, like that's my only gripe. I think women are upset. You know, like people are upset that they're going over there and like, you know, I guess the opportunity is like, okay, well, it's coming from a sense of like, okay, there's a better opportunity over there, and people don't like that.
Yo, I just don't think that the women over here though should really look down on the women that's partaking in this.
I was literally just about to say, I don't mean to degrade them. I don't mean to talk down on them. I feel like they do deserve credit for. However, I don't know how it is over there.
Yo, because from me coming from a third world country and having family that's still out there, like, yo, they are educated. Like, they do go to college. Like, they're not stupid.
Yeah.
But, like, yo, if they find an American man attractive, I mean, and that's what he's there for, like, I can see one of my, like, female cousins, like, yo, yeah, like, this is a win-win.
Opportunity.
Like, yo, I'm into the guy. He's into me. Like, I have these qualities that he's looking for, and he has the qualities that I want in a man, especially an American man. Like, yo, let's make it work. Yo, and I think sometimes people forget that, yo, marriages and long-term relationships don't always last just based out of love. Like, there is a business aspect to it.
Right.
I think that's what these women overseas are kind of realizing, and that's why they're going with it. Because if these, like, you know, passport bros were going overseas, right, and kind of, like, terrorizing these women and making, like, life living hell from them, like, I don't think that's going to fly. You know what I mean? Like, yo, there's still men out in these countries. I mean, these women still have brothers. They still have dads, right? Yo, they're not going to tolerate this shit, right? Like, they will get killed out there. Like, yo, if you're a passport bro that's, like, stepping the line overseas, like, yo, you're done. Especially overseas, like there's a very, like, limited, like, tolerance for, like, disrespect to women. You know what I mean? Like, as much as people like to think that, like, overseas, like, women are just getting beat left and right. Like,
Right.
yo, women are praised in these other countries a
Mhm.
lot more than they are in America. So it's like, yo, if you do some type of like funky shit over there, like
Not only
you're
praised
gonna
but
get dealt
protected
with.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, like it's what's also the difference between a woman from overseas spending thousands of dollars to marry a man over here for like a green card? It's really like there's no difference between
No,
the
it's
two.
literally
You
the same
know,
thing. She's just skipping. Like he's just not getting the passport. That's
right?
it. That's the
Essentially,
same
you
thing.
know, and like nobody complains about that.
But women do the same shit, bro. Women
Essentially.
women go overseas and sleep with men out there. Like nobody's shitting on them.
I feel like the women on overseas, they're not shitting on the men from overseas that
Okay.
they
Oh, I
know
think
or
they do.
stuff with. I don't
I
think they
think they
are.
do.
I think
I gotta say I don't think so, bro. I think they're
their father, not saying their
Yeah.
fathers are the same,
Mm.
are of
yo,
whatever race they are.
I-
But Americans are leaving, and when Americans leave,
They shit on.
they shit on Americans. I feel like they're kind of more innocent because they're taking the opportunity for the opportunity.
for the family. I get what you're saying,
I like
yo.
that.
So pretty much
I
like,
like that.
your only gripe with the passport, bros, is like, yo, just keep the American women out your mouth. But at
Like-
at the same time though,
That's
right? Like,
it.
if you're doing a video explaining on why you became a passport bro, if those are your reasons, I mean, like those are your reasons. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I said, like the video of that guy. I mean, I can see where he kind of shitting on women a little bit, right? But a lot of it was like just him describing like his personal experience. Like, so it's like, where's that line where like, all right, this is disrespectful and this is his reality.
Yeah.
Keep it personal.
No, he definitely kept
No,
it
like mention it
per-
personally for me. Like
okay, all right.
instead of
Making a broad statement like
and
that.
forcing how you felt in your personal experiences on and trying to influence others off of how you personally feel.
So I mean, I guess to wrap it up, like I personally don't think that these men are predators, like that woman said in the video.
Right.
I think, like I said, are you really a prey if you want to get caught?
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So yo,
I think these guys are doing. I'm not gonna say that they're doing good, but
they're
I'm
doing
not
good
against
for
it.
they're doing good for themselves.
For themselves, yeah, they're doing good for
What
themselves.
are your overall thoughts on the passport, bros?
Like I said, my third time saying it, you got to live in your
Might be
truth.
fifth.
You have to. And that's what I think. That's my outlook on everybody that makes decisions that are not the craziest. But
Right.
I mean, if that's what's making you happy, then do it without putting other people down. And if you continue to put other people down, you're always going to have a negative response.
True.
Very true.
Negative attracts negative, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what? I do want to add one thing before I wrap this up though. One thing that I have noticed with women overseas compared to women in America is, and I'm just gonna base this off my female cousins, is right. Yo, none of them are single mothers. I don't have one female cousin or even female aunt that is a single mom. No one's a baby mom, yo. I
do.
can name
I do.
a good amount of women that I know personally that are single moms and baby moms. So
I think because
I
family
can
is
see-
more like valued over there.
it's value, but like I can see that being a big issue for men in America, right? Because like, yo, most men don't want to take care of another man's child, right? Like,
Right.
but it seems like that is like the norm now, right? Like, if you're gonna date a woman in her 30s, like, you better bet she's got a fucking kid coming with her, right?
Percentages again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know now that you're single, right?
I'm a survivor, bro.
Like you're a survivor,
Yeah.
and that's one of your big issues with American women is like you feel like most of them all have kids.
Yeah, as well now in the dating scene again, you know. And to be honest with you, that was like one of the most less troubling situations I have been in, you know, where like the kid didn't really interfere too much, but it's like it just dating a woman with kids just bring a different onset of problems that the typical relationship shouldn't have, you know.
I mean, like me personally, bro, I know if I were to be out single again, as hypocritical as this might seem, like I have 2 kids. Whoever I would date after my girl, if that ever would come to be, she could not have kids. I'm not taking her kids. I know for a fact I can never love her kids the way I love my kids. Like, yo, as crazy as it sounds, like, yo, you got to take my kids,
But
I
I
ain't
can't
taking
take yours.
nothing but like, yo, I know you said your man has a kid. How was like that dating experience at first? Like, what's your relationship with the kid? How old is he?
He's 7.
7? Actually, around my son's age. Okay.
I don't have a relationship with the kid.
Oh,
Um,
perfect.
I think he's a great kid. Of
Okay.
course, he's smart. He's just like his father. I've only been around him a few times.
Okay.
It wasn't the most healthy. It's never been the most healthy relationship between me and his mother.
Okay.
So that's where the line is kind of drawn. It has been kind of straining at points in a relationship, dealing with someone. I'm not gonna say them specifically, but dealing with someone that has a kid.
Because you got it. Like, that's not a problem that goes away. Like, you got to live with that.
Yeah.
As long as you're with the person, right? But yo, like I said, with just like, you know, my cousins alone, so I'm not gonna really speak on the whole world outside of America, but I can see that being a big reason on why like these passport bros exist. Like, yo, like of not wanting to date women with that type of baggage. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the difference is that a lot of women. I don't 100% agree with that. I think that there are a large percentage of women overseas that do have kids,
Really?
especially in like the Spanish community.
Like in their single mothers.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
But I think, not to cut you off, I do think that something beautiful can come out of dating someone with kids.
No, for sure. I think it's something beautiful can come out of it, but I feel like in America, like, you have to find that beautiful, and because like
There's no other option.
Your options is a kid. But I'm not gonna disagree with you that because I haven't done research. But I'm just saying, I'm just basing this off my female cousins, again, the women of my family.
Right.
Like, none of them, except the one aunt, but she's divorced.
Yeah.
Like, they all
are married with their kid,
most of them don't have kids. Like, they're just like, for whatever reason, they just knew to get on birth control or make dudes wear condoms. Where I feel like, no, that's not the case in America. Where, you know, it's a lot of, you know, just
raw dogging
out here, baby.
A lot of raw dogging happening in America.
Trojan sponsor us.
Well, I don't know. Generally speaking, yeah, you're gonna find single mothers anywhere you go. The probability might be less, but it's hard to say that it's definite. You know, like there's really no definite.
We gotta go in the field and like do some stats. Like, so not for real. Like,
do some research.
I almost want to like contact people overseas and be like, yo, what's like the, you know, average amount of women like that are just single moms out here?
Right.
Because like I said, most of the time, even like on like those 90-day fiancés, because I've watched that shit with my girl a couple times, like none, like
yeah.
It's like you're like, are the men not fertile in these countries? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. Like, why are like, you know? But I guess we'll see.
I don't know.
But thank you for coming on again.
Thank you. It was fun as always.
Yeah, great convos.
I'm hoping we get a passport bro out here one of these days, man. I want to hear like the first-hand experience, what it's like.
What, from their side, right? Yeah.
But as always, please like, comment, subscribe. Once again, thank you for getting us to that 1K, yo. Like,
absolutely.
Let's get
you guys.
Get to 2K next, man.
Let's get to 7.
7?
Let's get to 7K.
I fucking 10. I don't know. All right, man. We'll see you next episode.
Appreciate it.